Hi guys, welcome to my review of the Shenyang F-5. I just want to start this video by saying that I bought this myself. I'm not a member of Gaijin bullshit, whatever. And I feel like I can be very critical of this plane. Well, not of this plane per se, but of the actual Matchmaker in general. Now, I want to start off by saying that this is the strongest 9.0 jet in the game at the minute. I'd say that it is worth the money to pay for it. But the current state of the Gaijin or the War Thunder Matchmaker at 9.0 means I would not recommend buying this plane at the minute. Now that might seem unintuitive when I've just told you that this is the best 9.0 in the game, and it is, by my opinion. You've got the best performance, maybe not the best guns, but we'll go over that in a second. Because this current state of matchmaking is pretty much just arcade, it's nation versus nation. The majority of your team will be Shenyang F-5s, and the majority of the enemy team will be Shenyang F-5s as well. This means that all the advantages that you have in this plane, the enemy also has them. So it's not like BF-109 versus Spitfire. There's no trade-offs and negatives between the planes. There's nothing you can exploit against an opponent's plane that your plane does better per se. Like the example, a better turn rate on the Spitfire and the better energy retention of a BF-109. This translate in game is if someone gets on your 6, you're pretty much dead. If you slow down and there's a lot of people around you, you're dead. In the games in general, at the minute they've introduced prop matches for jets. I've had a game on the Bastogne map. The Bulge map, I think. It was over in 4 minutes. An entire team of 12 people died in under 4 minutes in this jet map because it's that small. But it's kind of an ethics thing, because can I critique this plane based on the actual matchmaker, not the plane's performance? But again, just going to get it out of the way, I don't recommend buying this plane at the minute. Maybe in a few months' time, when people have stopped spamming it out, it might become a little bit more fun. But at the minute, it's Shenyang F-5 versus other F-5s. You're not really improving as a pilot. You're not really learning anything. You're just going to get frustrated. I'm really pissed off, to be honest with this. It's like Gaijin should literally just create their own jet, call it the Gaijin jet. Remove every single jet in the game. Just get rid of all these. Just give everyone a Gaijin jet. And you can all just fly that against each other. And if you queue up in this plane, you're just going to be flying against other planes. You could say then, well, it's just down to pilot skill then, which, fair enough, it is. But if you have 5 of these on your 6, there's nothing you can do. They can do exactly the same thing you can. There's no maneuver you can do that they can't do if they're a similar skill level pilot. So I know it's not standard to give a conclusion at the beginning of a video, but I know a lot of people don't really watch to the end of the videos, and I don't want to talk about how good this thing's performance is and then say, oh, it's not really worth it at the minute. I want people to know that this isn't really a jet you should buy at the minute. But it is a very good jet. Like I say, it's a bit unintuitive, a bit stupid, but we're going to go over the plane stats now, and I'll tell you why I like it, and then we'll go into some gameplay, and then pretty much another conclusion at the end. So in terms of engine performance, or the main thing that people are looking at this jet for, is its engine. That uses it's a MiG-17 but built in China. You do get a Liming engine, not really sure that what it is, don't really give a fuck, to be honest. The only thing you should care about is you do get an afterburner, or in Britain what we call a reheater, basically just an afterburner. Now this significantly induces your engine power. It combats one of the biggest downsides of the actual Soviet MiG-17, which is its pretty low acceleration compared to the 15. This thing's basically a rocket. You've got very good acceleration at all speeds. I think you accelerate to 100 at low speed, to be honest. You're an absolute rocket. So we know it's got a very good engine. What about its fuselage? Well, compared to the MiG-15 base, it's got its wings swept back. It's very much designed for high speed. Now with this fuselage and the engine, you can see we can get up to 1,114 kilometers per hour at an altitude of 2,000 meters. Ideally, you don't want to be that low in this plane. You want to get up to at least 3,000 to 4,000 meters before you start engagements. Saber's engines aren't very good at altitude, whereas yours is good at altitude, so you want to stay there. The turn time of 21.5 seconds, you're not going to be turning that tightly going at speed. That's at speeds of, I'd say, 500 to 400 kilometers per hour using your takeoff flap, sorry. But it is a very good turner. If you get onto the 6 of a Sabre and you're air braking and you've got your takeoff flaps out, he won't be able to escape you. You've got a lot better flaps, you've got a lot better turn time than the Sabres. Most importantly, that engine, even if something does go wrong and he gets behind you, you can just out accelerate him easily. And it means that even if you air brake a little bit too much and he starts pulling away, just get that afterburner on and you'll be golden. You'd catch him in no time. I think I would like to say about the afterburner though is it does eat through fuel. So if you're gonna use the afterburner a lot, like I do, I recommend either taking 30 minutes of fuel and just afterburning the entire match, or taking 20 minutes of fuel and just being a bit cautious about your usage of it. If you're at top speed already, you don't really need to use the afterburner, so put it back down to 100%. Using your afterburner does use up double the fuel, I think. I think it ticks down twice as fast than just 100%. So I have been caught off a little bit by just weapon or afterburning continuously. Now rate of climb, it's very good in this jet. 50 meters per second. You can't really put that into. You can't really quantitative that. Excuse me. It's very hard to put 50 meters per second into something you can visualize, especially in a jet where you don't really climb traditionally. You usually get your speed up in a horizontal, then go into a zoom climb. But what I can say is the combination of this fuselage and engine, if you get in the horizontal and you get up to about 800 kilometers per hour, and you then put it into about a 15 to 20 degree climb, you'll pretty much just go straight up. You won't really lose that much speed. If you put it into a climb any steeper than 20 degrees though, you will start to bleed off speed quite heavily. But 15-20 degrees, you'll just zoom straight up. Now the downsides of this plane, like all MiG variants, is it compresses quite a lot at high speed, and its roll rate at all speeds is pretty poor, to be honest. Especially when compared to a Sabre. If a Sabre's rolling from side to side, there's nothing really much you can do to get your guns on target. If a Sabre is rolling, or if you are struggling to get kills on Sabres that are still at manoeuvrable speed, then I'd put your nose up, go into a loop, come back down on top of them. Every time you force those Sabres to turn, you're getting them to bleed speed. As well, you've got your afterburner, so you can get that speed back up if you lose it a little bit. But apart from the roll rate, I think the biggest weakness of this plane is the guns, especially for me. You could criticise me saying I'm not the best MiG pilot, definitely not the best gunner with these guns. But like the all MiG series, you get the two 23mm as well as a single 37mm. Get the same belts. Our hard point options, we get two 250kg bombs, which you don't really want to use. You also get two missiles, air-to-air missiles. Not the best missiles, you only get a 6G overload and 800 meters per second speed. They're not really that good, to be honest with you. I would take them along though, just in case you come across anyone that's got half a brain cell and not really paying attention, or AFK. But the majority of your kills will come from these guns, and they've got a very low muzzle velocity, which does make it hard to aim. You don't really want to be engaging people at high speeds. You don't want to be taking shots at people going, I'd say, if an enemy's moving faster than 500 kilometers per hour, you're pretty much just wasting your time, unless you're a god with the guns. I'm certainly not good enough to use them at shots going faster than that. You want to use your great, energy retention and vertical performance to get people to... You basically want to force people to turn so that they bleed the speed. And when they're low on speed, you can use your guns to kill them. It is kind of like energy fighting or energy trapping, like similarly what you do in props, but you're doing it at jets. Now, this playstyle of getting people low and slow, it's not really, doesn't really work out well in the modern, or well, not the modern, but in the current state of Gaijin's, well, War Thunder's matchmaking. Because you have so many people on such a small map, if you get slow, either one of your teammates is going to steal your kill, or you're just going to get shot by one of his teammates. So if this jet was introduced back in like the F2 Sabre vs MiG days, it would absolutely wipe the floor, just because it's got that good performance. But in the current meta of missiles and just people just, it's like a furball in the middle of the map basically, where everyone's just turn fighting or shooting missiles at each other. It's not really that great for dogfighting. It's certainly not great for people wishing to learn how to fly jets, because it's just a bit of a clusterfuck really. But we've talked about its aero performance, we've talked about its engine performance, we've talked about its guns. We're getting close to going on to some gameplay, but I'm going to go over the usage in battle again. As I've just mentioned, there is a lot of furballs in matches now. So, you don't really want to get involved in those furballs. The MiG, oh, I keep on saying MiG, you'll have to forgive me, it just, I'm looking at a MiG-17 in my head. The F-5, it is manoeuvrable, but only at slow speed, and if you're slow in a jet, you're going to die. There's nothing you can do. One-on-one engagements, you're alright getting slow because it's one-on-one, you know where the enemy is, but because you've got so many enemies buzzing about, you're just going to get shot by someone you don't know where, well, you're going to get shot by someone you didn't see coming. So, you want to take off, get horizontal, a few hundred meters above the ground so you don't smack into a tree. When you get to about 800, 850 kilometers per hour, put it into a 15 to 20 degree climb. I'd climb off to the side as well, by the way. Just side climb, bro. You get that meme? That's funny. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, climb off to the side a little bit, get a little bit of altitude, and then once you're on top of the furball, you want to come back down on top of the furball and just pick off targets of opportunity, really. You can use your missiles to get some kills on people that are a bit target fixated on one of your friendlies, maybe. Not really reliable though. You're going to be relying on these guns, and these guns are really unreliable at the minute. Another thing to keep in mind, that as this is a new tech tree, you probably won't have a very good crew, obviously because it's a brand new tech tree. Now with the Shenyang, you do get access to 2,000 Golden Eagles, I do think. I'd take 1,000 of those Golden Eagles and I'd put them into this right here. Get 17,000 crew XP points. This will give you to level 5 in each of the pilot skills, as well to give you a big chunk of the repair and repair rank speed skills. With any jet, no matter what the tier, you do really want to be getting the upgrade qualifications to expert. However, I've not bought it yet because I can't afford it because I've been grinding other stuff. But it is something to bear in mind, because you have a fairly new crew, you won't be able to manoeuvre with, say, level 100, well, level 75 Sabres, for example, or level 75 Soviets. You will G-lock, you will pass out a lot earlier with them than them. Just something to bear in mind before you start a turning engagement. So I think now we're going to go on to some gameplay. I'm going to show you some of the ups and downs I've had playing this game, or playing this jet, sorry. And after we've done the gameplays, I'll see you for the conclusion. So we're here in our first game, and I'm just going to give you a little demonstration of the missiles of this jet. Now this guy, he's a PS4 player, so that's all you need to know. AFK, probably just looking on his phone or something, not paying attention. That's the only real thing you can use these missiles for. Like I say, 6G overload. In jets, 6G, that's just like moving your cursor a little bit. It's not really you're not going to be getting many kills with these missiles. They are just for finishing people off. If say you crit someone's wing and they're just flying in a straight line and you can't be asked chasing them down. Also, they're pretty good if people are in a stall and you want to kill them, but I definitely wouldn't rely on them. You're going to need to get a lot of practice with these main guns, the 37 and the 223s. And they do require a lot of practice to even be even competent with, never mind master them. But we're going to get another missile kill, and I just fired this missile just for an experiment, really, because there was no way I thought that would hit. I don't know if he was damaged or whether he was just not a very aware player, but I think he pulled negative Gs as well, which you can't really pull as many negative Gs as you can positive Gs. So maybe you tried to neg G down to avoid it, but couldn't get enough Gs. But anyway, I was going to go for that MiG-15, but I wouldn't have been able to turn under him. I'd have smashed into the ground. Not really a good thing to do. So we pull off him, we're just going to extend a little bit. Now there's going to be 3 sabres over there, I think, if I remember correctly. And they are 6 kilometers away, but that's literally 10 seconds in this plane. You got very, very fast. Oh, 2 sabres and a MiG-17, sorry. Now, the sabres, don't really want to get into a dogfight with them, especially at low altitude, because they will kick my ass. So we're going to dodge both the sabres. I don't dodge that sabre enough, because he actually does hit my rear fuselage. But you can just see the power of this afterburning engine. This MiG-17 goes vertical, so I'll follow him. And just look at the speed that we're closing on him. We're still doing over 700 kilometers an hour, and the camera just fucked me up a little bit here. But shot into his rear, he's gone. Now when you do get good matchmaking, and it's not a clusterfuck, like this is a nice big open map. A lot of the enemies were spread out, as you can see. There's a few kilometers between us all. You can get some good results. Not really the average experience of me. You can see from the rewards we do get some nice several thousand RP. That is with a premium account though. Wasn't using any boosters or any like 10%. None of that. I was just a plain premium account. Obviously it'll be half that if you just don't have a free-to-play account. So we're here over, I think it's Sicily or Malta. Not entirely sure. I definitely know there was no fucking MiG-17s or Chinese jets over this place though. So this is going to be what to do when things go shit. I'm going up against a sabre, and I know straight away that he's just waiting for me to get close so he can turn. He's not stupid. So, not even going to bother trying to follow him. If you try to follow him, you're just going to overshoot him, and he's going to have a shot at shooting you. So just extend, go into a climb. There's nothing that sabre could do to follow me. Now, a little bit more of the game's passed by. And I do apologise because we are going to be going into some clouds and you're not really going to be able to see anything. But again, it just shows you the power of this plane. Now, this is basically the exact same theory as prop fighting. It's basically just an energy trap here. I'm not going to get a kill from this, not on these 2 jets that you can see. But whenever the enemy is climbing up to you, you want to be in a horizontal, gaining speed or maintaining speed. And when the enemy comes in a levels out, you want to go into a horizontal. Whenever the enemy levels out, you want to go into the vertical. We get a very nice kill on that F-35. And you could just see from how much that sabre was struggling to turn at this altitude. We are at 4 kilometers. If a sabre comes up to this altitude, he's dead. There is nothing the sabre can do. He doesn't have the engine power. He doesn't have the manoeuvrability. You don't really find many sabres at that altitude though, so you can't really rely on it as a tactic. Now we're getting towards the end of this game. We've pushed them back to their enemy airfield. This F-5, he's got a little bit less energy than me. That means he's a little bit more manoeuvrable than me. So I put my nose straight into vertical. This means I conserve my energy. I'm above him. There's nothing he could do to pitch up to me. It also means it gives us a little bit of separation, which means I can come back in for another attack run without risking overshooting. And because I go straight vertical, it keeps me out of his guns. It means I get the best of both worlds, really. It means I'm safe from his guns and I get another pass at shooting him. But another F-5 joins the battle. Now the Yuki guy, he's quite low on energy, and I should have died here. Not entirely sure how I survived. I do also apologise for the black screens from the G-locks, but it's a new account obviously, well, new nation. Now this F5, he actually rode into my guns. If you watch that, if he just rode underneath me to walk back towards his airfield instead of continuing the roll, he literally just rode into my guns. He could have survived that. So it's just one F5 left, the same Yuki guy. Kind of obvious what the what Gaijin have done. There's a lot of, I don't mean to sound racist, but there's a lot of Asian sounding names flying this jet. They've obviously added the Chinese tech tree to appeal to the Asian market and bring in a lot of new customers, which can't really, well, it's giving them a lot bigger market, a lot more money for them, which is, I guess it's good, but which means you've got a lot of people that I don't want to say that I'm a better pilot than them, as I think I have a better knowledge of how to fly. There's a lot of people flying these jets which it doesn't appear that they have good understanding of jet theory. Like they're just turn fighting and like this, we're just over the enemy airfield, just like it's arcade, like low BR dogfights really. This next game, it's a nice little duo I'm going to have with another F5, but it goes back to my very first point at the beginning of this video when I say about teams and how it's just a bit of a clusterfuck. You don't really get good fights anymore, and when you do get good fights, either you get killed by an enemy that's diving in, or one of your friendlies comes in and just takes the kill. So this F5 is coming in, he's going a lot faster than me, which means he's going to be compressing. So I'm going to turn into him, I'm going to air brake, which means I bleed speed. I don't bleed enough speed, I should have cut my afterburner here. So I'm trying to get him to get in front of my guns. You can hear that I've spilled up a missile, which is a bit optimistic. I didn't dump enough energy there. As you can see here, I go straight into the vertical. I want to get rid of much energy as I can. I want to drop my speed so I can get behind him. Now I perfectly positioned this. Well, it's a bit... You can just see this would have been an amazing kill, but Hunter just takes it straight in front of me, and I was absolutely furious here. I think I put a lot of effort into that kill, and then some guy just flies up, fires a missile and gets a kill. I don't even get an assist, I don't get any sort of credit for that. It's just a bit frustrating because I really don't want to sound like I'm being obnoxious, but I think I put a lot of effort into that fight. I judged him well, I knew he was going to compress, and then you don't get anything for it. So it's kind of, you may as well just camp, wait until someone's having a fight, then come in and kill the person. There's no point learning how to be good. You just need to wait until someone's preoccupied. It's not very skillful, but I am angry, I am salty, but fuck it. So next map, we're getting to another F5. Like I say, 90% of the people you fight are going to be other F5s at the minute. Now, if I had a missile here, probably could have fired it at him. Probably would have been able to dodge it. I was running this plane without missiles because I just wanted to see how it flew without. Back I was saying where there's a lot of Asian sounding names that I don't really know what they're doing in jets. This guy had the energy advantage over me, but then he did a big old turn. He turned 180 degrees back into me, and he's just bled all of his speed. And he's air braking for some reason. But my internet decides now is a great time to just fucking drop itself. And there's a little bit of my fault here. He should have been dead twice there. You could see that a 37 does hit his wing, but just doesn't register. And I was fucking livid again here. Now this guy does come to his senses, he just dives away. I don't really have, I'm not going to be able to catch him, we're in the same jet obviously, so if I can go fast he can do the exact same, so getting a bit pointless. So we're going to cut out the boring bit of me chasing him down for 10 minutes. We've gone from one side of the map to the other. And all my allies are dead. Surprise, surprise. So it's going to be a big clusterfuck of me fighting another F5. So it's 2v1 F5s. And again, this jet, the performance of the jet is exemplary. It's absolutely amazing. The actual performance in terms of engine and fuselage. You need a little bit of understanding of how to fly it. Now, I think I've got a pretty good understanding of how to fly it. For me, I just don't know how to use these guns. Now, I was never going to get shot on there. I'm not skilled enough, and B, I think I'm going a little bit too, he's going a little bit too fast to actually reliably hit. Now, I know this F-5 is going to fire a missile, so I waited for him, and I manoeuvred. Don't really want to be manoeuvring any more than I have to. Obviously, he can catch me. We're in the exact same jet. Again, G-lock strikes. Can't see shit. Luckily, it does manage to, my vision comes back before he launches the second missile. So I know he's out of missiles now, which gives me a little bit of breathing space. It means if I go into any vertical stalls, I won't be vulnerable from missile attacks. A little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, but this duel isn't going to end in any kills. It's going to end in me dying. I thought I'd show it anyway, just to show you the actual performance of this jet and what he can do if you have, oh, well, at least several IQ. Basically just reversals. If I was a little bit better of a pilot, I might have been able to get guns on there. I think he was going a little bit too fast. I've had to led him a lot more than I could have done. Here again, probably could have got a shot on. But because it's 2-on-1, I can't really commit to any slow speed engagements. Here, that guy, he's going way too fast. He should have air braked long before he got to me, and he'd have killed me easily. But because he was going so fast, he couldn't get his guns on target. The F-5, it is manoeuvrable at slow speeds like this, around the 500 to 400 kilometers. But it is a pretty good dogfight against other F-5s. It is a dueling aircraft, I think. This is probably the most fun I've had in this plane, and I don't get any kills in it. Now, that to me was suspiciously like a bait trying to get me high, but I'll take it anyway. I think I'm dead, so I may as well try and get a kill. But I'm not going to get it. But some of you might realise what I've not seen at the minute, and it is my fuel. I've been using the afterburner too much. I've burnt through all my fuel, and that is something you definitely have to watch out for on this plane. It is a little bit of a neat pain in the arse because you don't really think about it until it's flashing at you. But we're dead here. There's going to be a Yak 23, the basically the prop without a prop basically, and it's going to kill me. So I'm just going to go over my final conclusion really. I think this jet is probably the best performing at 9.0. I've said it several times in this video. It is a great dogfighter when it's on a 1v1. When it's situations like this, you can put up a genuinely very good fight. If I was a better skilled pilot, or better with these guns, he would have been dead here. But again, that's down to me, not really the jet's fault. Is it worth paying the 50 quid or the 50 euros? If they sort out the matchmaking, yes, but at the current state, I can't recommend it. I haven't really had fun playing this jet. What you can see here, it is a little bit cherry-picked. I've taken the best, obviously. I don't want to upload shit games. Usually, that just happens. You go into a furball and you just get shot by some random guy that you haven't even seen. But in a few months from now, when the matchmaking's cooled down a bit and maybe the balance of teams is a few less F5s, a few less... I basically don't want to be fighting other F5s. I want to be fighting Sabres or fighting FJs, facing F100s even. You are a lot more manoeuvrable than an F100. I'd rather be fighting subsonics really than other F5s, just because I've got advantages over them where I don't have any advantages over the F5. So, final recap. I think this is like my fourth conclusion of this video. If you're a new player, I wouldn't buy it. I'd get the P81, the premium P40. If you're an advanced player or you've had a lot of time in jets, then maybe you probably want to look at some other people's videos as well. Like I say, I'm not a majorly advanced pilot. I think Whoop-de-Doo is making a video on this plane very soon. At least I asked him to make one and he responded in the comments. So you might want to check him out. He's a lot more skilled pilot than me. But it's a great jet. It's just let down by the matchmaker. It's let down by just the arcade style. You can see here on the minimap, there's about 6 enemy planes all in about a kilometre distance. It's basically just arcade for arcades suited up really in a nice suit and tie. Same kind of play style. Everyone just fucking getting caught on each other. But I've rambled enough. Again, don't buy this for the hype. If you wanna grind the Chinese tech tree, buy the P81. If you're a new player, you probably won't have fun with it. You probably just uninstall the game if you don't know what you're doing. Get the P81. It's cheaper. Put a talisman on the P47 and you're sorted. I hope you got a little bit of information from this. I know it was a little bit of a ramble and a little bit of incoherent shit. I wanted to get this out because I bought this jet thinking it was going to be king shit. And in many ways it is a good plane. It's just let down by its matchmaking. The way that it's always fighting other F5s. You don't really have any advantages over the opponents you're flying against. You can't really, if someone gets on your 6, you can't really do anything about it. But I've gone on for long enough. I hope you got something out of this video. Hope you got a little bit of how to fly it and how to counter it. And thank you very much for watching.